Welcome to a special video edition of Engine Room, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is, of course, a video podcast by Token Metrics in which we talk crypto, financial markets, and anything else that's interesting on the day of. We're coming to you right now on Wednesday, August 4th, one day before EIP-1559 goes into play. We had talked about this a little bit last week, and Forrest, you had described this as an overhaul in Ethereum's monetary policy. Can we rehash a little bit of that? And then it seems like this is good for the price of ETH.
This is very good for the price of Ethereum. So there's two big things. First, there's EIP-1559, and what day is it today? August 4th. So I think that comes out tomorrow. And ultimately, what that's going to do is reduce. It's going to burn roughly between 15 and 30% of each transaction fee. So Ethereum has transaction fees. A portion of those fees now are going to be burned, which is going to limit the incoming supply of Ethereum. It's actually going to ultimately reduce the supply of Ethereum in existence and make Ethereum become deflationary once it moves to proof of stake sometime towards the end of this year or early next year.
Does anybody else have any thoughts on EIP 1559? Is this changing anybody's investment strategies?
I'm only buying ETH right now.
Yeah.
Until Ethereum goes to proof of stake, the risk-adjusted returns I don't think can be beat anywhere else. Until we review a project that scores, and they can be far and few between, but like a really, really, really high. Ethereum is just such a slam dunk in my opinion, not financial advice.
Right. It's like a one coin. It could be a one coin market. And the key is risk adjusted returns, right? So ETH got slammed from, 4,500 to 1,700. These fundamental catalysts would psychologically limit downside versus an altcoin that, could go down 20 or 30% just because. It's probably not going to happen in ETH, and ETH could probably 5x from here.
Yeah, so I think Three Arrows Capital put something out, and I'm not sure what their time frame was. Whether it was, I don't think it was by the end of the year. But they said 20K Ethereum is FUD.
What?
20K Ethereum is FUD. That's like a FUD scenario. That 20K is low.
I see.
For Ethereum's future.
Right.
I don't know if their time frame was like a 3 to 5 year horizon. If it was next year, if it was by the end of the year, probably not by the end of the year. But Ethereum, I mean, I hate to throw out big numbers because then people say, oh, they get disappointed if it doesn't get there within 2 weeks. But Ethereum looks very, very good.
So you're saying I should hold my, what is it? I guess I've got.
I'm not saying you should do anything.
Yeah.
Not investment advice.
Yeah. The perpetual caveat.
Yeah. I mean,
on this topic, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'd like to echo that we were watching it, and when we called kind of that bottom in Ethereum, I kind of just threw all my money, really like 80% into Ethereum. And I mean, I bought a little Bitcoin, but it's just right now at that low price, and still, since it's so low, it's based off all the kind of projections of the next couple of years, it looks like it's the safest investment to get the most return, because Bitcoin will double, and that's maybe the most it'll go. Ethereum could for 5x. And unlike all the other altcoins, possibly shitcoins, Ethereum is super safe. It's tested. It has so many smart contracts, millions of users. So it definitely seems like the best investment, not investment advice.
Right. And on a hyperbole price targets, here at Token Metrics, we've got Agent Zero, who works in my group, who's a former Wall Street economist. And we worked up some models where we discussed, what should Ethereum be trading at given where stocks, oil, bonds, and the dollar are. And, maybe what happens to Ethereum if it goes down. I'm sorry, what happens to Ethereum if the dollar goes down? Price targets from those models range from 12K to 30K, which of course we clandestinely published in our free Ethereum birthday package, which is on our website. But Forrest is right. I mean, if I went on the live stream and said ETH 20K or ETH 30K, we get laughed out of the building. But the fact of the matter is, like, serious research points in that direction.
Yeah. And people will laugh because 2 weeks later, they'll come back and say, haha, the Ethereum's not 20K, you were wrong, and just give it some time. and sooner or later it will
be. The Economist came out with 6-month price targets, right?
Right.
But you're right. I don't want to hear it in 6 months. The bottom line is, I just need to know psychologically not to freak out if Ethereum dips 6%.
Right.
Oh, very good. Let's change subjects entirely, because there's an interesting little news story about a guy named Riccardo Spagni, who is also known on the internet as Fluffy Pony. He's the former maintainer of the Monero cryptocurrency, XMR, and he was just recently arrested in Nashville, Tennessee on fraud charges that have to do with something he was doing in South Africa between 2009 and 2011. This supposedly has nothing to do with Monero or anything he did in his capacity as a Monero, employee developer, but instead as an employee of a company called Cape Cookies. He supposedly intercepted invoices from another company for the purposes of manipulating them, inflating prices, and presumably to put money in his pocket. It doesn't actually say to put money in his pocket, but that's probably a safe assumption about what we're talking about here. What do we make of crypto people having their pasts come up suddenly? Is that a fair reduction of this? While this is going on, we have Gensler at the SEC coming out saying that they're gonna, I'm paraphrasing, of course, but we're gonna come down hard, regulate severely the crypto markets. Is this related to that?
Well, if you're running Monero, you can't jaywalk.
Yeah.
The Pentagon was paying a bounty for anybody who could hack it.
Yeah, I was about to say, I remember that headline. I'm like, are they arresting him so that they can they can force him to hack it?
Right. They found, it's like a movie. They got something on him and now he's got to cooperate.
Right.
I'm imagining like a swordfish scenario where they have a gun to his head and he has to hack something on the government's behalf. We have a big problem and we need a computer genius to solve it. Quick, let's get this guy on fraud. I don't know. This is the stuff. This is where movies come from, basically. But in any case, it's very interesting to me that all this is going on at the same time. Major regulators saying they want to come down on crypto, more or less. I'm paraphrasing again, but that's the tone of this. We're gonna get you, and now suddenly they got you.
Yeah, I think that crypto right now is like the Wild West, and over the next 5-10 years, as US regulators and maybe other countries start to regulate crypto a lot more, it's going to be similar to prohibition in the United States, where they might over-regulate, and we'll definitely see more people getting arrested over fraudulent or kind of scams, shitcoins, shilling. And I think that's going to then lessen, just like prohibition. They might take away some regulations in 10 years, 15 years after since it's so new, they're just going to be like, this is not good. We don't like new things. We don't know where this money's going. Like, we need to stop it all. And then maybe 10 years, they're going to be like, you know what? It's not that bad of a thing. It may actually be good. And they might lessen restrictions. That's just my thoughts on it.
They could try to choke the information flow by going after guys on YouTube.
Yeah.
BitBoy got shut down twice with 1 million followers, Ben Armstrong, allegedly because of like mysterious bots and trolls triggering the YouTube algorithm. Gee, I kind of wondering, I'm thinking that the guys at YouTube and Google that develop algorithms wouldn't get tripped by trolls, but that's just me, right? So they're firing warning shots over DeFi and decentralized finance while also trying to talk up a Bitcoin ETF. So they're trying to steer the public towards something more traditional, which is ironic, right? Regulators actually liking Bitcoin, trying to prevent people from losing money on leveraged exchanges and DeFi, DGen, et cetera.
Yeah, I mean, I'll also add, I mean, it's like when you tell a kid they can't have something, it doesn't matter what it is, they just want it worse. I mean, I think probably there's a good chance that regulation and the stories about Bitcoin being used for drug and the Silk Road drug bust with Bitcoin probably ultimately advanced the space a lot faster than it would have had the Silk Road not been busted and just been allowed to keep running. I mean, it's just bringing, what's the saying? Any publicity is good publicity.
Yeah.
So, I mean, maybe regulation will advance the space faster.
Yeah, you're reminding me, Forrest, that for almost any technology you can think of, it was first used to nefarious ends in the beginning. Maybe a good example here is the advent of the VHS videotape. That was all porn. That was what was keeping that around in the beginning. That's what that was for at the time. And then things like Blockbuster came along and cemented it, made it normal and useful for everybody. So
muscle car is going back to prohibition because somebody was talking about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
there it
right,
is. There it is. Any cool new shiny technology toy is always first gonna be used to thumb one's nose at the law, I think. And then after that, it becomes more subdued or restrained or normalized. And the $1 trillion question now is what does that muzzle look like for cryptocurrency? What is the thing that's going to come along and make this as accessible and useful to my 80-something-year-old grandparents as it is to me, a young and vibrant tech genius? Hey, Jad's here. Welcome, Jad.
What's up, guys? How's everyone doing?
Good.
We're just cursing your name. Come on, you can't just come into a podcast and not have something punchy prepared. Let's go, man.
Oh man, I've been working on the indices, man. I've been checking all the performances, and this past week, all of the indices,
unbelievable.
Yeah, all of them beat Bitcoin. All of them.
So let's use some smaller words for people who are just like, the indices did well. What does that actually mean? If I'm a Token Metrics subscriber, fill in the blanks.
Yeah, so essentially the indices are like baskets of coins that are already made, basically a portfolio, if you'd like, that is constructed using the quantitative models that we have at Token Metrics. And each one of these baskets is a diversified portfolio picked by our quantitative model that is using the AI part of the TM grade. So essentially, to not make it very complicated, whenever a Token Metrics customers is signing in and looking at these already built indices, if you invested in any of them for the past week, the return would have been very, very well and would have beat Bitcoin and all of the indices, because a lot of them have been able to pick some really strong coins like Perp, Luna, Quant, Axie Infinity, and all this. So I'm just very excited. That's why I'm
right. Some of this stuff is like making my life easier. I mean, and Quant trades on Coinbase. So it's not like the indices are finding like obscure coins. Perp, we've been pounding the table on for like a year. And the AI found it out of 6,000 coins.
Yeah. And the quant one was like out of nowhere, you know, like I didn't really know a lot about it or anything. And then I start seeing it's TM grade, I start seeing being in indices, and it's been shooting up for the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's crazy. It went from 60 to 180. And the
Yeah.
most I know about it is that it looks like it's legal Ripple. Like the
Oh,
Swift.
really?
Yeah, well, I gather I saw a tweet that says, you know, the symbol is QNT, that they were setting up like a Swift payment system. Swift is the way US dollars are transferred all over the place, the plumbing of the US dollar system. They're setting that up for stable coins in Latin America. So like Latin America may wind up with one universal stable coin that travels on a network built by QNT. That said, you know, and that's the great thing about Token Metrics, right? The AI can find something, the human analyst will chart it, and then, you know, dive deep into what it is. You know, Jacob will be on that soon.
We still didn't see Nano, unfortunately, in the indices, but hopefully it's coming soon for us.
Oh, don't worry, I've
soon.
been watching visual trends indicator, man. The next rally in Nano will trip that thing bullish.
They've got some, they've got two partnerships that they've teased and they haven't announced, but we know that the company Razer, the electronics and peripherals, like they're in the gaming niche, 1.2 billion in revenue last year. And the CEO tweeted at Nano a couple months ago asking to talk about an integration. And a few months later, now Nano has a couple big partnerships that they're going to announce. So everyone's kind of speculating that that's one of the partnerships. And if it is, it's the beginning of the end for everything but Nano.
The Nano Maximalist speaks.
Yeah.
Love it.
And what about Luna, Terra? Has anyone been keeping track on what might be a catalyst for the recent rat? Because it's been going up straight from $6 to $15.
Yeah, dude, that thing is unbelievable. That thing went from like 22 cents to $22.
Yeah.
Everyone loved it. Then it went from 16 to 6 and
Yeah.
everyone hated it. And now it's turning around and going back up. It's like,
Yeah,
I don't know. It's like they should rename it Nervous Breakdown Coin or something.
Who's been following DYDX? Who cares about DYDX?
I'm following it.
Forrest, are you aware that they've just launched a governance token? How does
Yes.
that change things? What do we need to know about that?
First of all, DYDX is a phenomenal project with phenomenal backing. So it's comparable to Perp, which we love Perp. In terms of some fundamental comparisons, I'm not sure exactly which one has more users or more trading volume right now, but essentially DYDX has a layer 2 perpetuals trading solution or platform that allows you to trade on leverage a bunch. They have a ton of different pairs. You can trade altcoins on leverage, decentralized, no KYC. You just don't have to, you just can't be located in the US. Now, I've heard that if your connection happens to be coming from a different country via VPN, they may or may not, you may or may not have issues. That is in no way financial advice, or in no way am I condoning using a VPN to trade perpetuals, but you essentially you can. They're launching a governance token, and they're doing a retroactive airdrop to anybody who has been trading perpetuals on their platform, similar to what Uniswap did, similar to what a lot of these airdrops are now doing. They're rewarding the early adopters of their platform to spur on growth. And I believe they have an ongoing program where if you trade frequently on DYDX, depending on your volume, you'll get some DYDX tokens as a reward.
So on DYDX, you'd be able to short a lot of different pairs.
Yes.
Nice.
And as they come down on centralized exchanges, So back to our earlier topic that we have to like protect people. Like this is where retail investors get wrecked, right? Professional traders know how to use leverage, but little guys don't. So little guys can have their entire accounts wiped out by a down move if they're long on leverage.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. So as regulators come down on players like Binance, where do you go for this type of trading? Decentralized exchanges.
For sure. And that's why perp and DYDX are such big plays. Injective protocol too. Injective protocol is another, and Monte Carlo DEX. That's a sleeper that we've talked about that, or could
Yeah.
potentially be a sleeper. It's
my
a layer
God.
2 perpetuals.
That chart.
DEX.
Wow.
I have a question for you guys. So what's your like process when you get airdropped tokens? Are you like, okay, since it's free, I just got it as a gift, I'm gonna hold it? Or do you find a way to sell it very quick? Or what's the because I've been airdropped uni where I sold it at like $8. I sold my entire airdrop at $8, which was not very good. And then I got 1-inch airdrop, which I was still holding, and I should have probably sold. And then Ampleforth airdrop, which came out of nowhere. I didn't even realize that. But how do you think about airdrops? Do you hold them, or do you sell them at good prices, or what?
For me, it depends on the quality of the project. I treat it like I would a normal investment in terms of like fundamental analysis, like the Ampleforth governance token.
Yeah.
I was on the day it came out, I could have sold my Ampleforth airdrop for, I believe, $35,000. Massive mistake. I could have gotten like over 20 Ethereum for it, 20 ETH for that airdrop. And I didn't sell it on the first. I ended up getting, I think I ended up getting $10,000 for that airdrop, $10,000 or $15,000 by the time I sold it out all. But essentially, it's just a governance token. There's no it's not cash flow positive. I should have just sold it in the mania and taken my 20 ETH and been better off for it. Now I have gotten a Ribbon Finance airdrop, and I don't plan to sell Ribbon Finance because I think it's going to be the opposite. I think with Ampleforth's governance token, people are looking to offload it and sell it because it's just a governance token. No one really wants to govern protocols. Who's got the time to vote on, protocol governance for their entire portfolio? So I think more the sell pressure for Ampleforth governance token was there, but when Ribbon Finance's token goes live, I think it's going to be the opposite. I think people are going to be people that didn't get the airdrop are going to be scrambling to buy it. Same thing with DYDX. I didn't get the DYDX airdrop because I'm in the US, but I think people are going to, when that token goes liquid, I think they're going to be buying up a ton of DYDX. I think institutions are going to be buying DYDX, and I think institutions are going to be buying Ribbon Finance. So I'm not selling any of my Ribbon. I want to, force people to pay a very high price for it later on down the road. Honestly, I may even buy more Ribbon Finance depending on where it launches.
Yeah, honestly, like from what I understand from Ribbon Finance, I didn't do fundamental research on it, but I just looked at it for a little bit. It's basically they're automating option strategies for you, right? And that for me is huge because like it's easy to understand how options will be useful for you, or what their payoff, how they can affect your portfolio and all that, but it's hard to actually trade them, to start thinking about the strike, to go to which exchange, to all this. So if they do it in an automated way and they can do the spreads, covered calls and all that, then I think it's huge, honestly.
100%. Yeah. So to riff off of what Jad's saying, if your portfolio is, or you're in a situation where your portfolio could benefit from selling covered calls, that's a very time intensive thing to do manually. Or you could just deposit your Ethereum or your wrapped Bitcoin in their covered calls data vault, and they'll just start selling covered calls with your capital for you and generating yield.
So that's how Dylan's grandma makes money on crypto options.
Yep.
Just buys ribbon finance, or, you know, she drops her ETH in and she doesn't have to buy the options textbook.
Yep. It's huge.
Yeah, I want to touch on a point Forrest said about not knowing when to sell. And I think that's a lot. Most investors struggle with that. Is you see these 100%, 200%, or even 20% gains on your crypto or your stock that you bought. And I think, and you don't know, do you hold on? Do you try to get to 10x? Do you try to get 400%? Are you happy with your 20% gains? So I think the key is to have a game plan. When you purchase that crypto, know that either I'm hodling this for 10 years plus and I'm never selling it, even if it goes down 99%, or I'm happy with taking a 50%, 100% profit, and then I'm out. And even if it goes up 200% more, I'm happy because I followed my plan and I doubled my money, and that's it. So you really need to know what you're buying and have your game plan and know when your exit strategy. That's very key in when investing.
Yeah. And if you don't have a plan, your spider sense will tingle, right? When it's time to get out, right? Like if you have a lampshade on your head and you're drinking and you're having a party and you're calling all your friends, then just, you know, just put down your beer, have someone hold your beer and sell.
Although who can talk about the relationship between luck and investing? Yeah, we love to talk about how thoughtful we are. Yeah, we love to throw out words like due diligence, but sometimes we also just get lucky. No,
For sure, for sure.
Yeah,
I love
look
the
at
concept.
Doge, right?
Yeah, no, I love the concept of luck, and honestly, this is one of the main reasons why I'm in crypto and I'm into quant analysis, because like luck plays a much bigger role in your life, in every one of us's life, than we would accept it. Because if you really acknowledge the amount of luck in your life, you would go crazy. You start thinking that you can't control anything, it's all up to luck. But it really has a huge effect, and in crypto you really see the effect right away, you know. Like you would have people who, just because they bought something a while ago, like I know friends that bought Ethereum at $10 because they didn't even know what it was. They just were like, okay, let me buy something like that, and now they have $1 million or something like that. And it's very hard to differentiate luck and skills in the markets. That's the big problem in the market. You could and whenever you become very successful, you will always tend to believe that it's because of your skill, not because of your luck. And when you're not successful, you will blame luck, you know. So
Right. Well, serendipity is a real thing in the universe, right? But if you study like the history of lottery winners, like a lot of those people wind up broke, even though they won millions. So, you know, luck is great, but know when to take the money.
yeah,
and then know how to protect the money.
yeah.
A little bit of degen is okay, but not too much.
I had mostly heard the theory that the reason that the story of the lottery winner who strikes it rich and then goes broke, the main reason is that this is usually the type of person who's never managed significant amounts of money before. It's like driving without a driver's license almost.
This is true, but I can see in the cryptoverse where, you know, if you bought Ethereum at 10 and sold it at 4K and made a whole bunch of money, and then turned around and bought a bunch of Doge at the top, right? There's a strong tendency to want to play it again. So you're right, that drives the lottery ticket story, but it's also very tempting for people to want to like repeat the experiment, right? Oh, I'm going to buy this. Oh, I was a serendipitous genius once. I can be a serendipitous genius once, twice, 3 times, you know.
Yeah, I want all you guys to start calling me serendipitous genius now.
All right. It's the Serendipitous Genius podcast,
Yep.
renamed on the fly.
There it is. There it is. Well, speaking of luck versus skill, etc., I'm seeing an interesting article about a crypto tax company called Zen Ledger that has just raised $6 million to make it easier for people to pay taxes on their crypto amid the weird broad tax reporting requirements in a new infrastructure spending bill in Congress. So here's the killer quote from this guy. This is Dan Hannum, the COO for Zen Ledger. He says, "They're looking to collect 30 billion in crypto taxes. It's not the worst time to be a crypto tax provider." So tell me that's not a little bit of luck being in the crypto tax business exactly when Congress starts to raise taxes and is perhaps targeting crypto to do it. I don't know. We've seen Joe Biden talk about how his administration is going to take crypto tax evasion seriously. I haven't seen any stories of like them getting some high profile. What does a high profile tax dodger even mean? But this hasn't really happened yet, has it? I don't think.
Well, their agenda is people avoiding the eventual wealth tax, right?
Okay.
I mean, Elizabeth Warren and friends, I mean, they're not only going to do capital gains, right? But when you got people like Bezos going to the moon or into outer space with more money than Amazon employees make in a year, they want to go directly into people's bank account. So, you get the guy from Monero off the streets, and you want to make sure all the money's in bank accounts so you can go in, because, going into a cold storage crypto wallet's a whole other story. So they want to make sure you're paying taxes. They want to make sure they know where you are, who you are. I don't want to get all dark. We're having a happy crypto podcast, but they want people paying their taxes, and rightly so. You got to pay taxes in equities, right? You want the market to be as clean as possible, but, always be leery of government agendas. They've been pretty quiet on capital gains taxes. Like, there was all that hubbub and then it all went silent.
Yeah. I'd also add that I'm speculating here, but I would imagine there's a massive shortage of people that understand crypto and are capable of building the tools to track down people evading taxes in crypto, that are also willing to do that and want to do that. Right. So all the people that are in crypto are probably not the type of people that are going to go out of their way and love working for the IRS, building tools to track down people that aren't paying taxes on their crypto. Right. So I'd imagine finding that skill set and simultaneously somebody who like wants to work for the IRS building those tools is probably very difficult. So I don't know, maybe it'll take longer than they think.
There's a firm called Chainalysis that helps like federal agents, read the Bitcoin blockchain using their software to track like big hardcore criminals. Okay. But yeah, Forrest is right. I mean, I'm not seeing Chainalysis software on every IRS person's desktop trying to find your half an ETH.
Uh-huh. Well, who's spent any crypto recently? Have we exhausted this?
No, I bought some digital racehorses yesterday.
NFT racehorses?
Yeah, Zed Run. Zed Run is a project. They just raised 20 million from A16Z and some other fund for basically building. They've already built it, but improving their platform and building out their digital horse racing platform. So I bought a couple. I bought a filly and a mare of the Nakamoto bloodline, and my plan is to breed them and start a horse racing line, an NFT
Really?
horse. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, would they actually race or?
Yeah. Actually, I haven't checked my results. I entered a race last night, but it was not supposed to start for like 4 hours, which was in the middle of the night. So I didn't actually get to watch the race, but one of my horses ran in it. I don't know if he won or not. I haven't checked yet today. But some of these horses are going for, what are they? I spent my wife's not here, and hopefully she won't watch this podcast recording, but spent $1,000 on racehorses yesterday.
Oh man,
They're like,
dude, it's a siren song of degen people.
but it's so a little bit of degen. They just raised $20 million from A16Z. It's a bit of it's one of those things where if I sit around and don't pull the trigger soon enough, those horses are going to be $5,000. So hopefully they hold their value and it ends up being a good investment. And hopefully they'll make some money for me racing on the digital horse racing track. But yeah,
I wish you said you bought real horses with your crypto. That would have been
no.
that would have been a great story.
Do you have an extensive NFT collection, Forrest?
I've got an NFT line for my YouTube channel, and then I've got one or two other NFTs, but yeah, that's about it.
Oh, interesting. The reason I ask is because while I don't actually own any NFTs, I do quite like the idea of having an NFT museum in virtual reality. Are you aware of people doing this kind of thing?
Oh yeah, Decentraland. You make a Decentraland avatar. It's just a video game, right? And it's not virtual reality compatible yet, I don't believe. But it's like you log in and you have a little avatar guy and he runs around and people can build whatever they want. And there's like art exhibits of NFTs on the wall. You can walk up to them and buy them if you want. Yeah, it's all of this. That's why Decentraland, the ticker is MANA, MANA, has gone through the roof. That was actually probably one of my biggest investment regrets. One of my biggest value investing plays that I didn't stay patient enough on was I invested a lot of money into MANA at 2.5, 3 cents. Then when this bull market really started getting kicked off back in August, September, like kind of right after DeFi summer, towards the end where we kind of had that in Ethereum was like $300. I was like, okay, the halving just happened for Bitcoin. Things are coming back after the pandemic. Crypto is going to run here and we're going to have a bull market, but I'm not sure NFTs are going to be, because I'd also purchased a bunch of land in Decentraland as well. So I don't know if NFTs are going to participate at all. I don't know if that's this market cycle thing. So I rebalanced my portfolio to be more into, because I was predicting DeFi would be the big narrative, and DeFi has done well, and my investments have done well. So I rebalanced around DeFi and Ethereum. However, we got the NFT rally. The NFTs became a thing this market cycle, and I actually would have done a lot better. I would have done probably 50x plus in Decentraland and those NFTs had I stayed. But yeah.
They're going to start trading derivatives on the NFTs themselves. That's probably going to be on Perp and DYDX. So you'll be able to trade anything from traditional art to NFTs instead of actually having to buy the NFTs to speculate on the price. You'll be able to buy the derivatives and short them.
Yeah, I like derivatives a lot. And I have a friend actually who's Lebanese as well, studied at MIT, like super smart guy, and went to California, Silicon Valley, opened a startup that is approved by the SEC, that it's basically a derivatives exchange for real life discrete events. For example, you can trade a derivative on the US elections, tomorrow's weather, who's going to win the Super Bowl, and things like that, like real life events. You can trade on them derivatives. So I think that's a very nice, I'm pretty sure there should be something similar in crypto, but he's not doing it in a decentralized fashion. Like they're approved by the SEC, and all these things, but definitely an interesting.
It's not just degen, it's leveraged G-gen potentially.
Yeah.
double degen.
That's right.
Yeah, sports betting, casino games, poker, it's all going to have blockchain applications.
Yeah.
Some already do. I mean, Virtue Poker is a really big project, fantastic project. I believe their token has done really well lately. I know there's all sorts of places you can gamble online. I would imagine there's sports betting already, but I would imagine that'll only get better and bigger, especially if you can just use a VPN. You don't have to go through KYC, and it's probably illegal, but I would imagine it's very easy rather than, living in a state where it's illegal and not having access to it.
What do you guys think about meme coins' effect on kind of the cryptoverse? I'm reading a headline here. It says another Doge-like token claims to be the head of the family, which becomes the 30th Shiba Inu knockoff coin, and it's Daddy Doge. And I mean, personally, I think it brings awareness to the space. I mean, my dad said to me a month or two ago, he said, "What's that dog e coin?" I said, "No, Dad, it's not dog e coin," which that kind of makes sense. It's a dog electric coin, but no, I was like, it's a meme, it's Doge coin. But I think it brings awareness, but it also may have harmed it a lot because it lessens the value of crypto.
Yeah, it brings in regulators. But as Serendipitous Genius mentioned at the top of the podcast, no publicity is bad publicity.
Yep.
Well, in any case, guys, I think it's about time to wrap this episode up. We've been talking a good 45 minutes. Thank you for listening and watching, you out there in media land and audience land. This has been another episode of Engine Room with me, Dylan, Bill, Jacob, Forrest, and Jad. We've got an audio podcast running 3 days a week, and this is the first foot through the door of video, and we'll see what happens after that. And thanks for listening.